You know, players ask me all the time just how slot machines work. And modern slot machines are all entirely computerized. There are no more mechanical slot machines where it was a clockwork type thing and the number of symbols on each reel were what determined the odds of the game. Today, everything is run through a random number generator, and it doesn't matter whether it's a 3-reel slot machine or a video slot machine with 5 reels, any configuration, it's all computerized. A random number generator selects random numbers that correspond to real symbols, and that determines whether you win or lose on a slot machine. You know, some players still think that real slots give you a better shot to win than video slots. I get email about that all the time, the people who just don't trust the video games. And really, it doesn't make any difference. Both run on a random number generator. You can program, whether it's a video slot or a real slot, a programmer can program any payback percentage in it within legal limits. One is not more fair than the other. It's not necessarily a bigger payback percentage on one than the other. All I would caution is that in casinos today, as has almost always been the case, higher denomination machines do pay higher percentages than lower denomination machines. So whereas most video slot machines are lower denominations, therefore have lower payback percentages. So in that sense, it makes a difference. But a programmer can program any kind of machine to have any payback percentage. I had a long correspondence with a player recently. We kind of went back and forth on just how random number generators work and what's legal on slot machines and what's not. And one of the things he brought up was that he wanted to know if a machine is programmed to pay a certain percentage, does that mean that it can't pay anything out until there's already money in the bank? And that's not the way it works. You know, the slot machine can pay any jackpot, any amount, at any time. In the long run, it's going to hit its targeted payback percentage, and it does it because of the odds of the game, not because it has to go in any makeup mode or because it has to hit a certain target payback percentage. The programmer just sets the odds of the game, and over a very long time, the odds of the game will make the machine gravitate toward that targeted payback percentage. Doesn't have to go into any makeup time. It could hit the top jackpot on the very first spin. That's possible. If that does happen, it doesn't have to make that up on the succeeding spins. It's just that over a long time, that top jackpot will fade away into statistical insignificance, and it'll hit its targeted payback percentage. You know, another thing players wonder about a lot is whether all slot machines are regulated by gaming authorities and whether there's a required minimum payback percentage. And they're not all regulated. That's the thing. You need to look for jurisdictions where the slots are regulated. I mean, traditionally for years there have been slot machines in bars that weren't supposed to be there. And in Chicago, where I'm from, that's a big to-do. You know, getting rid of unregulated slot machines, unregulated video poker machines. In jurisdictions where the casinos are licensed, in licensed casinos, you know, then they are regulated. The random number generators are checked. The chips for every game have to be checked by the gaming boards. But you have to be a little bit careful. You can't just walk into any bar that's not a licensed casino and expect that the game is going to be regulated like that. In licensed casinos, every state has its own minimum payback percentages. In Nevada, I think, 75%. In Illinois, it's 80%. In Indiana, it's 82%. So there are minimums in all regulated jurisdictions. Some of them also have maximums. You know, Nevada doesn't have a maximum. In Illinois, no slot machine may have a theoretical payback of more than 100%. And that limits the certain video poker games that they can put in the casinos in Illinois. But every jurisdiction that licenses casinos has minimum payback percentages. You know, some people ask specifically about Indian casinos. Are Indian casinos regulated? Do they have minimum payback percentages? And that's dependent on the compact that they negotiate with the state. The Indian casinos are in sovereign nations. The Indian tribes are sovereign nations. They regulate themselves, more or less, but they do have to negotiate a compact with the governor of the state before they build the casino and start operating. So just what the minimum payback percentage is depends on the compact that's negotiated between the tribe and the governor of the state. One thing that nearly all slot players seem to be confused about, I get asked this all the time, if a slot machine is programmed to be random, if they're supposed to act randomly, how is it that they can be programmed for a certain payback percentage? And the answer here is that the programmer sets the odds of the game, just as a game designer, you could call him a programmer, sets the odds of the game in a table game. It's the same thing in roulette. You have 38 numbers. A single number bet was going to win about once per 38 times. It pays 35 to 1, and that leads to a 5.2% house edge. It's programmed, you see, with 38 numbers, and then the possibilities flow randomly from that. It's the same thing in a slot machine. The programmer programs the symbols so that they will occur a certain amount of times that will lead to a payback percentage in the long run. It doesn't have to happen now, it doesn't have to happen tomorrow, but the odds of the game that are programmed, as long as the game remains random, will lead to that targeted payback percentage. Way back when I first started writing about gaming, 17 years ago now, I got letters by snail mail, we got snail mail in those days, asking me what the difference was between hit frequency and payback percentage, because I'd write about both of them at the time. And people still ask about it now and then. What is the difference between hit frequency and payback percentage? Hit frequency is the percentage of winning spins, and payback percentage is the overall percentage of money played that's paid back to players. It's different. For example, on a three-reel slot machine, you can have a game that with a hit frequency of 12%. On 12% of spins, you're going to get something back. That same game can have a payback percentage of 90% or 95% or any number of percent, depending on how it's programmed, what the paybacks are worth. So hit frequency is the percentage of winning spins. Payback percentage is the percentage of money that's paid back to you.